Hey everybody, Chris from Six Wins here with Matt, and we're here to break down a couple of matchups here in our best male WWE superstar bracket. And if you're following along on Twitter and Instagram, we talked about this. It's technically best male WWE superstar as like the header, but it's best wrestler. We're talking the best wrestler, whatever that means to you, whether you're more of an in-ring person, whether you're more of a character, carry the company. We just say try to factor in everything. So we got 2 matchups, which means 4 superstars. And I got something in store for Matt that he doesn't know what's coming. We like starting off with these fun things, catch you on the spot. So first of all, the 2 matchups. We got number 5 seed, Booker T up against the number 12 seed, Drew McIntyre.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other match, the number 13 seed, Sheamus.
I think those are the same voice.
The same
You're nailing it.
Irish, Scottish.
They're the same.
Yeah, they're in our back.
They're 100% the same.
Right. Sheamus 13 going against the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
4 seed.
That was the best one.
Yeah. So here's what I want to know.
Yeah.
One person's going to get left out.
Okay.
Out of these 4. So remember, Booker T, Drew McIntyre, Ultimate Warrior, Sheamus.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of these people is going to get left out. But I want to know who's the hottest one? Who's the coolest one? Like, which one do you want to go, like, have a brew or a sandwich at a bar and just hang out with for the night? And then the third one, if the world was coming to an end, we're talking zombie apocalypse, which one would you want on your side?
Oh, no!
You can only pick one.
You can only pick one for each. So that's the problem, because I felt like I knew the first 2.
Yeah.
But then it's leaving me with 2 people for the third one that I don't really want.
Yeah, and you can't pick the same person. So
Right.
maybe you think Drew's the hottest.
Yeah.
Sure, but you can't have him on your
pick him
side
again.
when the zombies come down.
Well, I'm still, in order to be as just truthful as possible and not like finagle this to get a better person to survive. Like Drew's the hottest one. I think I think his pops are like super lady induced. Like he gets like, yeah, he gets the lady pop. I think like a big time. So Drew would be the hottest. I would pick like to hang out with, grab a beer with. I like Ultimate Warriors 2, just insane. I would not want to have like an hour-long conversation. I don't think I'd be able to follow it.
No.
He'd just be out there. And Booker T is probably a good answer here, but the role he plays now as sort of like a commentator and like a guy before pre-shows, I'm just like, Booker T, please stop talking like stupid stuff. I think he's probably pretty cool outside of that sort of semi-role he's playing. So I'm gonna take Sheamus. You gotta take a European to go like drinking with and pal around with. I think Sheamus would be cool as hell. Yeah. So that leaves me with the world's ending.
Oh boy.
Who am I running as a partner? Booker T or Ultimate Warrior. Ooh. And I think like this is high risk, high reward. But I'm going Warrior.
Okay.
Because like this is the guy that's gonna like if he's on your side, he's gonna take a bullet for you. He's gonna just run at zombies, and you'll be able to like get away if there is any danger. The only risk here is that like he just loses his mind and attacks you and takes you out or something. But I think because I took Drew as my guy taking me to prom, and Sheamus as my guy that I'm going to drinks with after prom. Yeah. I gotta take Warrior as the zombie apocalypse partner and end times partner. Sorry, Book.
Okay.
Do you have similar answers or completely different?
Pretty similar. So Drew is my hunk. I think he's the best looking one. You know who I'm gonna hang out with? I guess mine are a bit different. I'm hanging out with Book.
Yeah.
I think he's good. He's got some real cool stories, and I think I think he's got the cool stories, and I think Sheamo's gonna probably push it a little bit. Like if you're going out drink, like I'm not really a drinker, but we're making believe here. I think Booker's just gonna like keep it cool. He's gonna have some interesting stories for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking with Sheamus for my World's End guy. I think Warrior's too much of a wild card.
For sure.
Here's my thing, because world's ending. What have we learned from shows like Walking Dead? Eventually, the biggest challenge becomes not the zombies, but like the other little surviving groups. He's not gonna be able to get in there and like hang. Like
No.
anyone else wants to call the shots, he's gonna try to be like tribal chief.
Yeah.
And he's too much of a loose kid, too much of a liability.
Absolutely.
So,
My only hope with that is that like he buys me time and is a target of other humans or of other whatever bad things going on. Like if we're in trouble, he's gonna just think he can take on everybody and go in there, and I can run away and cower.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, cool. So, so with the matchups.
Now it's time to talk the actual matchups.
The actual matchups. Booker T versus Drew McIntyre. You got any thoughts on this one? And who are you going with?
This is a really hard one. I probably will just abstain and try to get through quickly because like Booker T had such a long and great career, not only in WCW, which again we're trying not to factor in as much as possible, just their WWE, WWF runs, but even in WWE. Mm-hmm. He came over as one of the few WCW guys to have success.
Right.
He had a King Booker run where he's a pretty long-term heel champion. Mm-hmm. Got to feud with a lot of the faces, John Cena, of course, and things like that. And I think he's so recognizable and very, I wouldn't say like legendary or iconic status yet, but like everybody knows Booker T and everybody kind of respects him for what he's done and things like that. So it'd be hard. As talented as Drew McIntyre is, he is still young, even though he's not, the super young Drew McIntyre when he came in, but I guess I'd probably go Booker T, but it's really close.
Yeah, I agree, and like ditto to everything you said as usual. We're usually not that far off, except I'm gonna go Drew.
Yeah,
and I'm going Drew. I don't know if it's necessarily fair because we're talking about like this point in time, in terms of accolades. What have they done? Booker has to probably get the nod, but I think when it's all said and done, it's gotta be Drew because I think if he stays on the same trajectory, I will say. When that pandemic kicked off, Drew ran hard for the company. He put the company on his back. He was the guy, along with, I think, Sasha and Bailey, who like didn't miss an episode of Raw or SmackDown. Just a shame he never got that title win in front of the big crowd with the huge pop. So I'm actually going Drew.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Now, when all the voting came in, I think it was pretty close.
This one was, this one was close.
But Booker T's moving on.
Booker T is moving on.
So Booker T, that's one win for King Booker.
King Book.
Yeah, and he is going to face the winner of Ultimate Warrior and Sheamus. A couple of warriors.
The Ultimate one and the Celtic one.
Yeah.
Good matchup there.
Right. Who do you think? Who do you got in this one?
Ultimate Warrior is iconic and legendary, but again was a little bit, his prime was a little bit before we would have got into wrestling. So while I recognize him and he was popular, I had action figures and the stuffed wrestling buddy of him, like I was like imagery wise, like I gravitate more towards Macho Man. So like I think when you're like 4 to 6 years old and you see wrestlers, but you're just like one catches your interest more than the other. So like Ultimate Warrior, I was like Macho Man's really cool, and I knew Hulk Hogan. Like Ultimate Warrior didn't do much for me. As you were talking about Booker T and McIntyre and saying why you would take McIntyre, I kind of asked myself this question to see like maybe I'd agree with Chris since it's close. Taking into account all the accolades or where they are at their careers now or in their prime, like who would you rather watch in a feud for like a big title? Like who would you rather see in a match or in a really good match like right now or at WrestleMania? And that's why I was like, maybe I would rather see Drew McIntyre. I think at his best, his matches and his mic work and feuds might be better. I feel the same way for Sheamus at his best over Ultimate Warrior. I think Ultimate Warrior was just, he's from that time where there was a lot of using things to look bigger, and it definitely like rattled his brain. Yeah. He was like we said, a wild card. But Sheamus has like a quality of just like consistency that I think is a little bit underappreciated. And if you give, I think Sheamus at his best matches, best feuds, is going to be a wrestler I'd rather see than Ultimate Warrior. So I pick Sheamus for that reason.
Cool. I'm going Sheamus too, actually. Warrior, his heights were, it's very, very few. You probably count on one hand the other superstars that reached the heights that Warrior did when he beat Hogan, I think WrestleMania between 6 and 10. I don't remember, 8 maybe. But I just can't get over all the stuff behind the scenes and how he just did everything he could to tear the company down. And then he did get brought back. And just weird turn of events with his passing, like 3 days after that promo he cut, winning the Hall of Fame WrestleMania 30,
right.
Cut the promo on Raw, almost as like a farewell. It's almost like he knew his time was coming. I remember a buddy texted me. He's like, "Dude, Warrior passed away." I'm just like, "Yeah, sure." I thought he was joking. I'm like, "No, Warrior passed." But to your point, who would I rather see in like a high-profile feud? Who's done it consistently for longer? Checks all the boxes. I'm going Shamo.
All right, yeah.
And we put it up to a vote.
Yeah.
And everyone disagreed. With
Literally
us.
everyone. Sheamus got no votes. No, I'm just kidding. This one was super close, too.
It was close.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior versus Celtic Warrior. They went Ultimate. So we're going to see Booker T versus the Ultimate Warrior in round 2.
Yep.